Have you ever stopped to notice the green carpets growing on rocks, tree trunks, or forest floors? Mosses, hornworts, and liverworts, collectively known as bryophytes, are plants, but not like the ones we usually imagine. They're small, not flashy, and don't come in lots of colors. But they're there. Hundreds of different species, each with its own little personality. Mosses and liverworts prosper in cool, moist, and shaded places. They prefer natural environments with variety, slopes, rocks, flowing water, and trees of different ages. Dead wood, fallen logs, and undisturbed ground give them the stable, sheltered conditions they need to grow. The more diverse and mature the habitat, the more bryophyte species you'll find, including the rarest ones. Finding the right home isn't always easy for them. The destruction of natural forests can make it difficult for them to thrive. When old growth forests are cut down or wetlands are drained, many bryophytes lose the environments where they can prosper. But there's more to bryophytes' story than where they grow. What makes them so remarkable once you take a closer look? Unlike other plants, bryophytes don't have roots. Instead, they absorb moisture directly through their leaves and stems. To find out more, we turn to Nils Kronberg, researcher and senior lecturer at Biodiversity and Evolution at Lund University.
One thing is that they have a quite different approach to handling water as compared to vascular plants or flowering plants that we often are better acquainted with. So flowering plants and trees, flowers that you see in the forest and in meadows and so on, they take out water through roots, and they contain waters inside in the cells, and they retain a certain water pressure inside their cells. So that's the approach of handling water for vascular plants. But mosses have a quite different approach to handling water. They take up water through their leaves and their stems. And when water is not available, they lose the water and they stop growing for a while until water is coming back again. So they don't have the possibility to keep the same amount of water inside the cells. Their activity is varying dependent on how much water is available.
And it doesn't stop there. They have more unique features that distinguish them from other plants. Bryophytes are haploid, meaning their cells contain only one set of chromosomes. This is in contrast to most other plants and organisms in the forest, which are diploid and have two sets of chromosomes. This unique trait makes bryophytes especially valuable for studying plant evolution. For millions of years, these resilient plants have developed powerful natural compounds to defend themselves. They've survived droughts, herbivores, and climate shifts, all without ever needing to move. We interviewed Claudio Verotto, head of Ecogenomics Unit at Research and Innovation Center, Edmund Mack Foundation, who shared his knowledge about the uniqueness of these plants.
Bryophytes are very ancient species. They actually exist since 450 million years. Therefore, during their long evolutionary history, they had to face a lot of environmental changes and a lot of challenges to adapt to their environments. Given the fact that they cannot move, being plants, they had to develop a huge amount of secondary metabolites that they use as weapons to fight against the herbivores, the parasites, and all of the other challenges that the environment presents them. Therefore, they develop a very unique set of genes and corresponding metabolites that are really very different from the vascular plants that evolved later.
Bryophytes' importance goes beyond their unique biology. These tiny plants play a huge role in the forest they inhabit and climate change. We asked Eliza Hayes, a doctoral student at Biodiversity and Evolution at Lund University, to tell us more about these ecosystem engineers.
So bryophytes are important for EU diversity for many reasons. One of them is easily argued with industrial uses. So bryophytes have many chemical exudates and are relatively simple in a way genetically, so there is a lot of potential to modify the genomes and develop ways to increase the amount of chemicals being exudated, which can be used in pharmacy, can be used in cosmetics, can be used for sustainable farming, because plants have these interactions with each other and they naturally control each other's growth. So if we take advantage of that natural fact and we take the chemicals that are being released from one plant that stop to limit the release of another plant, maybe we need to use less harmful chemicals such as herbicides or insecticides. So in the EU, we have a lot of bryophytes that we don't really know about yet, or that we don't know everywhere that they are. Again, the studies of bryophytes have been relatively limited in comparison to other plants. So in general, bryophytes are important for diversity because, or bryophyte diversity is important because they make up such a big chunk of land plants, and they're poorly studied, and they definitely are important for ecosystem resilience and diversity as well.
Bryophytes aren't just vital for forests, they also hold innovation potential. From pharmaceuticals to cosmetics and sustainable agriculture, these small plants are sparking significant interest beyond the forest floor. We spoke with Eliza to learn more about what makes bryophytes so important for future industries.
They also have a lot of industry potential to increase sustainable solutions for pharmacy, cosmetics, agriculture. So overall, bryophytes are kind of a powerhouse of a lot of different information, and I think it's important that we look into them.
As Eliza highlights, because of their small size and nondescript appearance, many species and their ecosystems are underdocumented and often overlooked. This is where the BRYOMOLECULES project finds its purpose. BRYOMOLECULES focuses on European bryophytes to conduct the first large-scale, systematic search for bioactive compounds with high potential for the bioeconomy sector as ingredients of cosmetics and pharmaceuticals. The main goal is to create sustainable, bio-based production method for BACs, minimizing environmental impact and reducing reliance on wild harvesting. The project will also contribute to the development of new, eco-friendly products through research and collaboration. Let's hear more about the initiative from Claudio Verotto.
The relevance of the BRYOMOLECULE project is at different levels, actually. The first level is a very applicative one. So we are trying to identify natural compounds that can be used and produced in a sustainable way without impacting the natural biodiversity of the plants they are coming from, in order to produce novel and green products that are in particular interesting for the cosmetic sector. Of course, this is not the only potential applications of these molecules. Actually, they could have potentially even application in the pharmaceutical sector, as well in agriculture and other sectors.
To learn more about how bryophytes can shape the future of sustainable cosmetics and medicine, discover more at the BRYOMOLECULES project website, bryomolekules.eu.